regularly works on both operas and plays and has worked on over 70 productions. His experimental use on the stage is what really sets him apart from many other scenographers. And through this, he is able to create very unique and interesting sets for his productions. So, like most people, Robert Wilson graduated high school. And then after he had graduated, he began studying business administration from the University of Texas. But Robert quickly dropped this and moved to New York City to pursue his passion for the arts. And there he earned a degree in interior design from the Pratt Institute and started his own experimental theater group, the Bird Hoffman School of Birds, where he truly began his fascinating career in theater. And so Wilson has earned many awards throughout his career in theater. He's had over 22 nominations and awards for his work in the business. Most notably, he's earned an Olivier Award for Best New Opera for his work, Einstein on the Beach. And he's also earned the Europe Theater Prize for his work and a National Design Award for Lifetime Achievement, a Hein Heckroth Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Scenic Design. So with Robert Wilson being a designer, director, choreographer, and even performer at times, he understands all elements of theater. Wilson has a very unique style when it comes to designing stages, and he focuses a lot on minimalism and dark lighting. With his use of minimalism, Robert Wilson is able to express a lot of his productions through more images and the symbolism that is conveyed, as well as the lighting and not just what is said by the actors in his productions. Majority of his stages contain very few props and focus a lot more on the movements of the actors. And Wilson has also said that props and movement are some of the most pivotal parts of a production. So Wilson faced some challenges growing up. He grew up in a very strict family. He stuttered as a child, and he was a very slow learner. However, his passion for the arts helped him to be able to express himself and do what he loved rather than what his parents wanted. Wilson's adopted deaf son, Raymond Andrews, pushed him to create some of his works, including Deaf Man Glance, and this was because his son saw and communicated in the world very differently. And this also pushed Robert Wilson to be able to create theater productions that focus more on image rather than words, which was a huge challenge in the business. So as said before, Wilson's designs are usually very minimalist with dark lighting, usually lots of darker blues, and lighting is very, very important for Wilson. It must be perfect and precise down to the second to clearly represent his image and symbols within the play. Wilson uses both traditional and irregular locations for his production. He usually uses a proscenium arch for his production, but for certain productions, such as one that he did called Ka Mountain in Iran, he did the stage completely on a mountain and had the audience all outside. And he also uses very defined structures and shapes on his stage to create the image he's looking for. So every prop on the stage has a very important meaning to the production and is not there without purpose. If there's a pair of something, it means they have a relationship in the play and they're not meant to be alone. And chairs are also a very big part of Wilson's productions. They are seen as art in his designs. And although Robert Wilson has many famous and well-known productions, I really want to focus on Einstein on the Beach, which was credited as one of the greatest artistic achievements of the 20th century, and also his play Deaf Man Glance that he did for his deaf son. And so Einstein on the Beach was Robert Wilson's breaking of conventional opera. He disregarded traditional opera, orchestra, and included very abstract dances. And there are no intermissions in this 5-hour-long opera, and the audience is allowed to leave and enter whenever they want throughout the entire show. And Wilson's use of very important lighting and minimalist set designs are very prominent throughout this entire production. And Deaf Man Glance also broke very traditional theater. He focused much more on images, movements, and scenery rather than the dialogue and the script of the play. And Wilson also used minimalist set design with a small amount of props, but was still able to communicate his vision with less words. And so I chose Robert Wilson because when I originally looked him and his work up, his pieces really, really stuck out to me. I had never seen anything like what he had done on a stage before, and it really caught my eye. I wanted to learn more about why he designs the way he does, and where his ideas come from. And my aha moment for me when creating this presentation and researching Robert Wilson was discovering his use of experimental designs. So to be able to go against the norm and what everyone expects you to create in theater, and go with something that you imagined was so fascinating to me, and I knew I had to learn about him. His use of non-traditional designs and creativity is really what made Robert Wilson stick out to me. So thank you.
Excellent. What do you guys think? Comments, please. Any responses?
I like how you included that one piece about how the audience can like leave at any point in the opera. Like, I just don't think, I can't imagine myself leaving. I just find that disrespectful, but I think like that's a really cool piece that you included.
He's largely influenced, his work is influenced by Asian theater and Asian art.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent that, you know, you can leave the opera during the performance, which is very typical for theaters in Asia, that you can have a really long productions like Mahabharata in India or Vietnam. And to me, when I was at the theater watching and people are leaving in Vietnam or India and in China, and they're like having the phones and talking on the phones and just bringing the food back. It was just like unheard of. I was like, how can you do this? But I mean, when you think about this, like really extensive, really long productions, that's kind of normal thing to expect, I'd say. But what was really extraordinary about Bob Wilson, he also had the training as a visual artist, as a painter, so you can clearly see that he brought like a very different sensibility to the theater. And he's also director, so he was doing all these productions that are cutting edge, like really groundbreaking, where he was at the early onset of internet. He would have productions happening in Tokyo, in Paris, in New York simultaneously. But interestingly enough, not many people know about Robert Wilson in America because his sensibility and the way that he's designing is so extraordinary that a very few groups of very few people really recognize the extent of his genius. So in America, at least, because the theater is slightly different when you think about the musicals and all of that. So I was really happy that Clive, you chose him to present, and you did a really excellent presentation and within the time constraints. So bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't see Taylor. Are you here? Can you do a presentation?
Oh, I was like, wait.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you think you can do it today?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
No, that's Taylor.
Okay, so I decided to do my Pechacucha on Rufus Didwisus. Rufus Didwisus is a set designer born in 1967 in Cologne, Germany, but grew up in Berlin and Stuttgart, Germany. He studied set and costume design at the Academy for Fine Arts in Stuttgart. Rufus has been a guest lecturer for set design and architecture in Berlin and Munich, set for the Torun Festival in Poland in 1999. He has designed for tons of theater companies, including the Sydney Theatre Company and Royal Opera Stockholm, and he's also designed for the Salzburg Festival and Edinburgh Festival. Since 2004, he has been creating, directing, and designing his own music theater performances in collaboration with Joanna Dudley. His projects for 2019 include designing scenery for Orpheus in the Underworld at the Salzburg Festival, The Little Match Girl for Ballet Opera Zurich, and Prince Igor for the Opera Nationale de Paris. Rufus worked with Christian Spuck on Wintries, which he's very well known for. Rufus created an environment blending a wintry snowy landscape and an interior. On the cold concrete finished walls, the undeclared image of trees covered in snow can be recognized. Light strips, a semi-reflective floor, and snowflakes create a cold and crisp atmosphere. The blank accents given by the crows underline the theme of death, which is very much present in all of Wintries. He has predominantly worked on productions of plays that might be considered modern classics, such as works by Sarah Kane and Marius von Meyenberg. He has also put on his stamp on traditional classics, including a production of King Lear at the Royal Dramatic Theatre in Stockholm in 2003. The set for King Lear 4 was still fairly simple, with using a tall throne to put focus on the king and adding brick wall as the background with lots of people on the stage. For this production, it was in German, so I couldn't really pronounce it, but it meant fire in the head. And it was a long, narrow, raked platform with a double bed in the center, a kitchen table and chairs to the left, and a working bathroom sink to the right to represent a house. The very minimalism of the set shifted the setting from naturalistic to symbolic. This set also gave Ostermeyer 3 acting areas where he would often stage 2 or even 3 actions simultaneously, where a North American director would freeze actors to have only one action occurring at a time. The effect was to have one action comment upon another. He has also worked with Thomas Ostermeyer on Richard Dresser's Below the Belt at the Barrack at the Duchess Theatre in Berlin, in a production also seen at the Berlin Theatre Festival. Authenticity is one of Didwis's main focuses when creating the look of a show, often leading to unusual requests for the set and props. In Blood Wedding, an element of the set that was essential to Didwis's design was thousands of dried leaves that covered the stage in a scene set in a forest. In this slide, there's a picture of Rufus talking with director Ian Sinclair. And Rufus said, "When I look at the script, I usually start by putting white all over the stage directions. I feel a good play or a good text doesn't usually age, but the stage directions are the first thing that can age. They can be so attached to an aesthetic or a particular time or to a technology, and I don't want to obstruct my view of it. I want to find my own approach and see if it is timeless." This set, also from the previous production, has a real stone floor. The backdrop in one scene is an enormous print of a photograph by world-renowned artist Joel Peter Witkin, and at one point in the play, actors come on stage wielding antique chainsaws that have been restored but disabled for safety. Berlin-based Didwiss has gained a reputation for creating powerfully spare designs for some of Europe's best theater companies, including the Schaubahn in Berlin. He uses clean lines and open space to focus attention, punctuated with textured surfaces and minimal props, all used for dramatic effect. In doing Sleeping Beauty with Christian Spuck in 2020, Didwis's neoclassical set is considered of the new ballet generation due to its set that can rotate 360 degrees, such that the dancers can vault through windows and doors, giving new possibilities. The entire architectural construct itself can also be shifted upstage, leaving room for the dancers in larger configurations. Once again, Rufus worked with Christian Spuck on the Nutcracker, and set designer. As a set designer, he said to look something of a vaudeville dive, nevertheless with great appeal. Jagged mirrors set on and over the front of the stage made angled reflections, both of the dancers and the orchestra. More recently, Rufus has worked a lot with director Barry Kosky, who directed La Belle Helen. This production is what I found to be the most colorful of the plays that Rufus was a part of, because I noticed a lot of the other ones had a darker mood to them. But once again, this did involve lots of people on stage, but with a very simple set. And lastly, the production that stood out to me the most that Rufus helped set design for was Boris Godunov, written by Alexander Pushkin and produced again by Barry Kosky. It was originally written in 1831, but not allowed to perform until 1866 originally for censorship. The production is meant to resemble Russia's time of troubles under Russian ruler Boris Godunov. This play represents both of how in two different scenes the sets are completely different. In one scene, there are a lot of packages on the scene, and in the other, there's just a bell, but Rufus was able to utilize this. And lastly, it really intrigued me that Rufus was German, and I thought it would be really fun to focus on a designer who wasn't from the US. And unfortunately, it was a bit hard to find some information about his personal life and his family, but I was still very impressed when looking at all the different kinds of work he's been involved in. I found his sets not to be super complicated and more on the simple side, but involved lots of people, and it helped emphasize more of what was going on. And my aha moment was when I realized there was a very big common theme of either having lots of empty space on the stage or lots of people on the stage. And that's it.
Great. So this was great. Any comments? Guys, response to Taylor's presentation? I have a question for you guys. So both Taylor and Clive were mentioning minimalism. So judging by these two different designers and showing their work, what do you guys think that minimalism is? Can you explain like how the minimalism is visible on stage? Or find a different word for it? Anybody? Are you familiar with the term minimalism? Can you hear me? Clive, what's your thoughts are on that, on the minimalism?
Well, for me, minimalism comes like simple, but still able to get the point across. And that's what I noticed in a lot of Robert Wilson's work. Like he didn't include a lot of props or a lot of actors, but you were still able to visualize what he was saying based off of through the movements and the images that he did provide. So it was like not a lot, but still able to get the point.
So very selected pieces and very few. Okay. And then Taylor mentioned authenticity with the example from the, what was the wedding? What was the title? The piece that you showed with the leaves.
Blood Wedding.
Yeah. So minimalism goes with authenticity. It's actually a movement that was related to the visual arts. And then it was translated into the onto the stage. And in visual arts, in minimalism, the focus is on the negative space, use of the space, materials that are maybe produced and not altered by any kind of decorative element, but it's true to it's authentic in that way. So, you know, the steel is steel, the leaves are leaves. So it's not pretending to be something else, which is very much in a tradition of theater to use, say, a styrofoam to create a rock on the stage, versus the idea of the minimalism that you use something that is physical object as is without pretending to be something else. So if it is painted, then it's obviously two-dimensionally painted, and it speaks to that. If it is an actual object, then it's real object as it is in real life, like a concrete or a steel beam, or not pretending to be a painted wood to look like a steel. So it's an important up-to-date understanding of what the set design is. And minimalism will be showing in your in the text that you have to read for this week. I added something that will be otherwise. I recommended to Jillian to present this designer. His name is Ming-Cho Lee. It happens that he passed away a few days ago, and he's a really a set designer that is key and cornerstone for changes that happen in the 20th, 21st century set design in America. So I included an article and a bio that you guys will need to read and reply to it in the forum by Wednesday, because he's such an important part of the American heritage and world heritage in design. And since we're learning about how to design in this class, that's really important. Hence, he is the one who also uses term minimalism in his work as well. So I just want you to connect all of that, like on some level of understanding how the designs are approached, because there is one way, which is realism or selective realism, figurative or sculptural, but then this is really a new approach to the design, very current, to go towards minimalism, which is the least amount of objects that are always functional and speak to the story of the world of the play. Okay, so on that note, I would like to move on to a couple instructions and concerns that they have as related to our final project. Okay, because I would like to go through this as fast as possible and to give you a time to work on your final project today. So let me share this first. We talk about this, and I was sharing it in a week before the Hamlet production discussion. And these are the tools that set designers, costume, and light designers are using to present their designs. So obviously the mood board is one of the biggest parts of the designer presentation, and it starts with that. You can include the words, you can include the images, textures, and you all guys did it super successful in the Hamlet production. So this is just a reminder for what you guys need to be doing for the She Kills Monsters final. So you need to have a set presentation as a mood board, and then your choice of either costume or lights. So there are some links to the set design presentations that are really good to read. And then there's a list of things. We just start with the mood board research, then scene breakdown. We all went through that. Thumbnail sketches, elevation and floor plan, rough model, which is a white model. And then what we will be getting into is full scale color model. Color renderings are not going to happen because you're not ready to do that, but nor painting elevations. But this is all that the set designers are actually doing. Then we have the look of the thumbnail sketches, which I would like to work on the floor plan that way, so that you have the idea what is 2 scenes that you want to work on and how that looks like. So there's a front elevation and there's a floor plan. This is a reminder of the symbols that are in this presentation, as well in the previous ones that you will be using on the floor plan. And if you look here, the idea, you can have a floor plan that you draw, and then you cut out the smaller pieces to scale that you can move around and check, which design is working for you. You can see the pieces here that were cut, like staircases, the platforms, TV, chair, sofa, things like that, and you can just like shift around to see what does work for you. Okay, so the difference between white and color model, we talked about that a couple of classes ago. Just a reminder that this is due. White model is due. This is what I'm not asking you to do, the color or paint elevations. This is professionally done. And this is how it would look like one complex depiction or orthographic projection of this circus wagon. You will choose one object to depict as orthographic projection, like the way that you did the bed. Okay, the costume design presentation tools, it has, again, for those that are interested in costume design, to read about it a little. And the main focus is really, sorry for that, is on the presentation mood board that depicts the characters, silhouette, and the texture and color, which you guys again did successfully in your Hamlet presentation. Silhouette is important because it depicts the time period, whatever the silhouette might be. So if you want to do a preliminary collage just like this, cutting from the magazine, that's one option. It's super fast, and you can create a sense of texture and figure. This is not expected from you guys to do. Those are the shop renderings that happen in the design process for the costuming later, and they're delivered to the costume shop. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of doing that right now, so I will show you next class what I'm doing with the designs that I'm working on right now. So fabric swatches are always good to have. You can have it, you can find it online and just present it next to the one of two characters that you're doing. Makeup is always important to be addressed, and you guys all did so successfully in your presentation of the Hamlet, so I don't think that will be a problem. This you can use or not, it's up to you. You show me that you have far more skills than what I was showing here, I'm sorry. And then the research board shows the research, the mood boards shows the mood. I want to ask you for the cast. In the light design, you guys did the mood boards really well and discussed the color choices with some practical lights. So this is again an idea for those that will choose to do one light design. There's some sources that's not absolutely necessary to be covering, just to give you the idea. This is professionally done, the plans, the light design plot. You're not asked to do that, just like to show you how it is done. And practical lights, that's something you would want to add on, considering what the effect psychologically the lights will create. So addressing that, color key, not necessary for this class, just giving you the ideas, but the gobos and gels, which was done in the class very well for Hamlet, are expected. So this is a very brief presentation on basically the mood board and what is expected to be presented in your final. We have a set of deadlines. I'm a little bit concerned with how far or how little I got from your guys's responses. So that being said, I want to share what was expected to happen today as a progress of the idea. So the research, visual research, post-production research, set design mood board for 2 scenes, floor plan. And this is what I would like you to focus today. For those that did not send me anything, decide on 2 scenes and do the hand-drawn floor plan. That's the idea. And then today was also, or last night, this was due, which is a white model, like really brief sketch of the ideas of the space, how for scene 1 and for 2 scenes that are of your choices. So this is something that you guys need to be working like really now, because I'm a bit concerned with the lack of the responses with what we have as a deadline for this week. And this is going to compile, and you will have a very hard time and to produce the final project, which is time consuming. And it really happens in stages. And what I said initially last week, it's about a month of production time for designer to fully produce in each area, whatever that I showed you earlier. So we are going step by step, but I really would like for us to focus on those 2 things today, 2 floor plans and startup of the white model, because you cannot proceed to the next stage of design without it. Does that make sense? Guys, are you following me? Do we have understanding on what needs to happen next? Let me just show you really briefly, and this is in, again, in the Moodle for this week. It's this. So I'm reminding you of what we already did, which this class supposed to, or final supposed to bring all of these skills that we were working on together in a creative project. So this presentation, we already talked about it in the week 2. What are the scene mechanics and type of stages? So we discussed what kind of stage would you like to use for your production. And so this is a reminder again on the type of the stages. But this is really important to remember that there are different scenic mechanisms that are moving things around and helping to create a really fast scene change. So we went through all of this, and I expect you guys to actually reference some of the learning that you have over the course of this semester. And I included this again in this week's unit. So I want to be sure that you guys are going back to what we learned and really applying what was done so far into your own design. Okay. I also need you to reply to my email with your time and date when you're going to meet with me this week to help you with the development of your designs. Okay, so I need you to reply before the end of this class. I want you to send me an email with the progress of your 2 scenes, floor plans, and the beginning of the stage design. I want to kind of give you a tip or a hint, which I think those that had an individual meeting with me, it was helpful to understand that you can literally use, for the white model, you can use a piece of paper and fold it and create an environment or flats that you like and play with that, and then use the little figure to check what's going on, what is happening, okay? The idea for the 2 scenes is like one is interior realism, the other one is from the fantasy land, whichever imaginary world you want to recreate, so that it's sharp contrast with this realism, which is the interior. If you did not make a decision on the scenes, it's your time to do it right now. So I'm going to keep like the Zoom open for any questions that you might have, and I would like you to sit and work on that and send me or ask me directly, because I'm going to be sitting and reading your papers and waiting for you guys to interact with me or ask me anything that you need help with. Does that make sense? So think of this as your studio time, okay? Instead of passively sitting and listening to me talking at you, which, I mean, that's not really a goal, but to create an environment where we are collaborating, because the theater is about that. I would really like you guys to sit now and really, wherever that you're at your stage of development of understanding of the play, because we did talk about the themes, we talk about the possible way of staging in the last class. I haven't seen much of the development in that area, or actually your choices. So I really have to insist on that to happen in the next whatever 40, 50 minutes that we have left of this class. Okay? Is this clear? You guys have any questions? Suggestion. Take a piece of paper, and it's a free sketch, free drawing. You don't need to be super elaborate on this. Just, you know, make a sketch of the stage, decide what you want to do, and start sketching, you know, walls, tables, chairs, like whatever that you had done before for the bedroom. But that is related to your specific scene. So you have to have the title, the name of, I mean, number of the scene, which act, which scene, and then just briefly write, handwritten, what needs to be there on the stage in terms of the props, like the way that we talk about minimalism today. What is the most important piece that needs to be there? Are there walls? Are there not walls? Are there doors? I mean, things like that. Okay, can we do that then? And feel free to, I'm here waiting for you guys to interact with me and ask me questions. How's that? Yeah. May I see the other students in the class, so that I know that I'm communicating, or at least like reply to me as a chat, because you might be here or you might not be here. I don't know, when I just have a blank video. Okay, so let's go to work. Alisa?
Yes.
Since you're already elaborating, if you want, you can, we can talk about your progress.
Okay. I also had a question for you too.
Okay.
Because I know after our individual meeting, I like showed you my thought process. And I'm looking at the guidelines right now. What was I gonna say? Do I have to make two like set designs? Because
No, we talked about that already. You're designing a unit set.
yeah.
So you will have to represent it in a different ways.
Okay.
You have to represent it with the photos, which means you will bring something maybe on stage, or, you know, have the projection in the background that defines which scene are we are in.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to talk to you, because there are two ways. One is a unit set, the other is a multiple
Mhm.
set. But you have to present it on stage or with the floor plan in a different way. So, so you can have it just two different colors. you know, you choose one color, say one is black for the one scene for the exterior, the blue is for the interior. And we keep all of that on the same stage. But when you're doing the front elevation and the image from on the model, you actually need to have both of these.
Okay.
So, but it's on, otherwise a floor plan can always be done, and this is in instructions from the previous class. It can be done on one plan, and it's always either use like a different set of lines, so you use dash line versus the just like solid line, or you use like two different colors to present on the same.
Because when I did my freehand floor plan,
I know.
Like, yeah, I put it all together. So for the actual floor plan with like the ruler, you want me to like distinguish the different scenes basically?
Yes, for different scenes. And that's what I wanted to basically address with you, because you did really well on your presentation so far. I mean, for what is needed. The next thing is also to start building the platforms. Okay. So guys, the rest of you, can I see you drawing or doing things? You don't need to look at me, but if you have questions, I would be more than happy to answer and help you with the progress. Okay.
I have another question, sorry. You know, like this week we have to finish like the full color and the full scale for our model. How would I guess build, where would the audience sit for mine?
Okay. For that, when you put it in a scale floor plan, okay, I would recommend that you think about the following, which is the amount of the surface that you will be using for the audience, which will be clear to you when you put it on the floor plan. How big is that? Okay, so basically think this way. A platform that is 4 by 8 feet, okay, that can have 4 seats. Okay, so basically you have feet planted in front of the seat. It's about 3 feet total in between. So think about platforms or even smaller, 3 by 8. So we'll have like 4 seats. And so how many seats would you have, or how many platforms you can fit into that space that you address? Of course, you can have the first row that is sitting on the floor, but you have to mark it so that you know that this is not the staging, this is not fighting with the staging area. And the only thing that you can do is like create little box. You can cut it from styrofoam and to mark it. And what many designers are doing, which is like really a simplest way to do it, according to your scale, they just create like this back of the seat and cut it and just glue it on the back end of the platform. Okay. Do you want to share your floor plan with everybody, Elisa?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, because that may help so that everybody knows what we're talking about. Elisa came with the idea to have it as a black box, and we had discussion how to do it on the box stage that is proscenium stage. And that's possible, and it's done many times when you really do not want to have a relationship of the audience sitting in the seats, but you have much more intimate situation. So Elisa came with the idea how to actually have audience on the angle, facing in one direction, the set that is unit set that is good for different fast scene changes without having to take things in and out, too many things basically. So and so we were talking about how to make clear in the model who the audience are. The best thing, Elisa, is that you make these platforms and seating seats from the black cardboard, or just like painted black, so they don't really take the attention over the designs.
Can you see my screen or no?
No?
No, nothing? Okay. Let me try it again.
I mean, I can also find it online on the email.
What about now?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So guys, can you see what we were talking about? It's a sketch of the stage. It's a freehand right now. This needs to be turned into scale drawing and done with the ruler. And then she has audience here and audience there. So see, Alison, do you see my cursor? Can you see my cursor or not?
No, I can't.
Okay, the audience that is close to the apron, you can extend it even like more into the apron if you want to. You can have 3 rows maybe. You can extend here, you have lots of space. That's what I'm saying. So this looks really good, very much to scale. The only suggestion that I'm having here, upstage back, instead of having a sharp angle, to use a curved curtain like a cyc. Okay, so it's like a semicircle that wraps around the platforms, and that could be used as a projection. You don't have the sharp seam in the center. Does that make sense, Elisa? Can you hear me? I don't know, you're frozen.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's just, so I'm just suggesting that use the cyc for projections and have it curved in the back of your platforms. So that way you create an illusion in which we do not see the connection, the seam, the harsh edge corner, and it gives you illusion of much bigger space. You know, you can have projections, you can have lights like color lights there that show the daytime, night, I mean, whatever you want to have on it. And it gives you the illusion of much a deeper space. Otherwise, it's really good. Okay. Awesome. Okay, let me check the emails and respond. So. Laurel, yes to the meeting at 9:45. Can you hear me, Laurel?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so Elisa, 10:45, that's good. Chantel, on the 6th, 1:45, that's good too. Okay.
Okay.
So Taylor sent me a link, but we'll still need to meet. So I need you guys to send me emails with your time, with possible times to meet regarding your final project. Okay, so guys, check your emails now and send me some possible dates and times. Yes, Clive, 9:30, yes. Okay, hold on, let me just check. Isabella, let me check. Okay, I'm getting more emails, so I have to check everybody's. Guys, I did not mention something, which is paper was due today, or rather last night. I received like half of the papers, and to help you with the assignments, I'm giving you the extension until 15th for the paper to be turned in, but no more extension after that date. If the paper is not in, it's going to be an F. So the link is sent out like a couple of weeks ago. It's Romeo and Juliet. I included the paper guidelines in the attachment in today's announcements. So you can view, obviously the option A does not exist anymore. This was an option to view the presentation of the new works. So that's not going to happen. But still Romeo and Juliet are due. So you have 2 more weeks, but after that, no more grace period, okay? So I really expect you to write the paper. And let me just check again, emails everybody, and I'll send you confirmation as soon as we finish the class. Benjamin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So would 12:30 on 11/6 work for you, or you would, because
do the-
that's already taken, but you send me different times, did you?
Yeah, I can go on. I was gonna go on the 4th instead.
Okay, let me look again.
Okay.
Benjamin, 10:15.
Okay.
On the 4th.
Sounds good.
Okay. Actually, we have to rework it. Benjamin? Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's do 10:30.
10:30. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because Taylor is. So Taylor, can you hear me? You're 10:15, and then Ben is at 10:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
Taylor, yes.
Sounds good.
Okay. Francesca.
Yes.
12:30 on 12:30 on Friday.
That can work.
Yeah, okay. Taylor, do you need 2 meetings this week? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I can do 2.
But you have just one time on Friday. Do you want to do some later time on Friday? Can you do 12:15 on Friday?
Let me double check.
Or we can determine then once when we meet on Wednesday. How's that?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Okay. So Francesca is 12:30 on Friday. Okay, so guys, can you just correct me if I'm wrong, but I have so far Clive on Wednesday at 9:30. I have Isabella at 10, Taylor at 10:15, Ben at 10:30. And then I have Francesca at 12:30 on Friday. Okay, so Daniel, Julian, and Chantal, you guys, I don't know if you sent emails, I haven't seen them. So can we set up?
Mine is at
Laura, when are you? Are you at 10?
9:45 on Wednesday.
That's right. Yes, yes.
And I'm at 10:45 on Wednesday as well.
Who? Oh, Alisa. Yes.
And I had a 1:45 on Friday.
Chantal, you have one?
1:45 on Friday.
Okay. Okay, great. So only Daniel and Jillian, guys.
I asked for 12:30 on Friday, but I think that you already filled that one.
That's, yeah. So is it possible to be 12:15 or 12:45?
Yeah, I could do 12:15.
Okay, great. Daniel.
And then I emailed you. I emailed you about on Wednesday at 10:45, but I think that one just got taken. So I can do earlier if possible. If there's a time earlier.
So do you want to meet before the class, like 9:15?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do 9:15.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so what I need you guys to do today, by the end of the class, please send me name of the scenes, 2 scenes that you're working on. So whatever the name of the scenes, and then the sketches for the floor plan that you have, like freehand, whatever that you're going to finish. You still have like 15 minutes. It's not a big of a deal. This is something, this is how it works in real life. As a designer, you do the sketches, you present it to the director responds, you reworked it. So for example, in this production that I'm involved right now, set designer, I'm doing costumes, but set designer brought like, I think 6 different versions. You know, every meeting there's a new version to which director respond, then, you know, the new version and the new, and a design moved like so differently. I don't expect you to do this many versions. This is usually very tough production when you're experiencing this many changes. But I just want to prepare you to the reality of the professional life, which is in conversation with the director, you might need to make some alterations. And in this case, I'm your director, so I'm helping you with the project as well. Okay, so whatever that you send as a first, I mean, Alisa and I talk about it, and she did it from the first, like really well after our conversations, but the conversation was important. I mean, the same was with Danielle. Danielle is not here today, but she did like really amazing job with that. So in any case, that's why I need to see your fast sketches today, so I can be also prepared for our meeting. The more that you have for our meeting to share, the more benefit you will have from me giving you directions or helping you what to do. Please do the mood boards and the research. The visual research and mood boards are really important, and they're essential part of the design. And this is where your ideas come from. This is where you go through when you're designing, going back to these images and see how you can present them. Okay? So the goal is to create a very solid design that is easy to be shifted from one scene to another, and then how to build it to make it to look as real as possible in your model, okay? And that's a second stage. I mean, so we're like just targeting the first stage, and I was a little bit upset because we're running late with the first stage. So I really want to push this so that we start building the model by the end of this week. That's going to be later painted or whatever. Okay. Lisa, just a thought with the platforms. Do you know how you build a bed? It's the same idea. You have the height. So the platform, and I sent you a link last class to everybody with this book on model making. But the general rule for anything that's kind of two-dimensional, like a platform, it has, or the bed, it has these components. So the sides are the height and then the base, right? You might need the help with the staircases. So look at the picture, the last slide on the presentation that is in the class for this week, that is showing the stage mechanism. So you can see at the bottom of it, the last slide, how, what is the relationship, how to do the stairs. Because you were measuring everything for your bedroom, and the same idea is like it has to be referencing the real stuff. So the stairs, you have proportions or dimensions for the stairs because they're standardized. Okay. How are we doing, guys? Are we drawing anything? Are we contemplating the text? Anybody? Yes, doing good. Did you cut your hair, Clive?
Can you say that again?
Did you cut your hair?
No, I'm just growing it out.
Okay, something is different.
Maybe.
Okay, anything that I can help you with? Jillian, did you get my email about the presentation?
Yes, I did. Thank you for that.
So you can use the materials that is for this week, but this is just the starting point. You will have to present more, okay, in terms of the
Yeah,
image.
no problem.
I can also share my experience with Ming-Cho Lee. I was at his master class in Washington, D.C., and he was at that time, he was like 84. And we had a class that was in the morning and in the afternoon. And one class was 8 hours long, no breaks. 8 hours long, no breaks. And he was talking to no end. Like we would meet like super early in the morning and he would talk and talk and talk. So, and then after the 8-hour class, then we had like a short break and then we had like 4 more hours because he expects to have a dedication when you're doing set design. We were like after a week of that, and it was like a 2 weeks intense course. After a week, we were all that, like we were all lying down under the desks and like listening to him. And I could not believe how somebody who's like 84 years old have this kind of stamina. It's unbelievable. But he loved his job, and that's what he was just like, you know, transmitting to us. It was surreal because we were all young and just like falling apart at the pieces. And he's like, oh, it's okay. When you need to go to the restroom, just go. I don't need, he did not eat. He did not go to the restroom 8 hours solid, like block. It's unbelievable. So in any case, but he was just really pretty brilliant. His idea of becoming a designer happened when he was 18 years old and or 17, and he watched he saw the production of opera that came from Italian opera was visiting, I think, Shanghai. That's where he saw it, and he thought that's like the most beautiful experience in life that he ever had, and that triggered him and inspired him to come to America to study set design. And he was studying in Occidental College first in LA, or Pasadena rather. And then he moved on and up, and he really became the most influential designer in America, and teaching stage design to unbelievable number of people. And he was the first one who actually came up with a collaboration class for the arts in theater that he felt very passionate about, because we lived in the culture and live still that's very competitive. And the idea of collaboration was not very well understood. And he brought that into the theater and really changed the face of the theater. It's fascinating. He's like such a force of nature, unbelievable designer as well. So in any case, you really need to know about him. And Julian, I hope you will do a great presentation, because there's lots of resources on what he did and how he changed the face of the design. So in any case, that's like really, I felt sad, and he was just unbelievable, always available to his students. I mean, even though that I was in his master class, he was willing to work with me on his time, like outside, and support. So great guy. Okay. Julian, you have something to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that like really cool to hear. So I'm really excited to like be able to do a presentation on him.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because I mean, he was on, like, I mentioned him, but you know, he fell through. I also recommended that contemporary stage design website to look for designer, but or to look in the front list of our course book. But he would not be there actually because he was not interviewed for that book. That book is more like Eurocentric. Well, Euro/world centric, did not have that many American designers, weirdly. In any case, I still have some people that did not sign up to do the presentation. Laura, are we doing it today after the class?
If you can, yeah.
I can you?
I think so.
Okay.
I might have to, there's like something being delivered to my house though, so I might have to like, I don't know.
Email me what
Okay.
you want to do. Guys, this is the reason why I'm bringing that up, Laura, not to put you on the spot, but I just want to be fair to everybody. In case that you have an issue presenting, have a like incredibly debilitating stage fright or something like this, that please let me know because I can arrange different ways of you presenting the work. Okay, so I'll just make it happen for you guys with the least stress because I remember in the grad school we had to do once a week presentation for the committee of 7 to 11 people. And that was like nerve-wracking. And I know many students actually left the school because they could not handle that level of stress. And I know how it was stressful for me, especially having English as a second language. So I'm here to really help you, but I'm just, I tell you the truth, I'm a bit upset how late the final projects start coming in. So I really need you guys to pay attention on deadlines and seek my help. So we actually successfully finished this course. Okay. So I still need some of you guys to contact me for presentation. Okay. Are you in touch with any of other students from this class? No? Yes, Clive, yes, no? I was just trying for a period of time to find out what's going with Aya. Is anybody in contact with Aya? Well, she sent me an email this morning that she has internet problems and she lives in Kazakhstan and that she's on the top of everything. So she'll send me her assignments. I was just worried about her, but the rest, does anybody, I don't know what happened to Gabe. He was not showing for past 2 classes. Did you guys hear from him? I mean, the other students are in contact with me and I'm trying to make arrangements or adjustments, but I'm just worried about like Gabe and Aya. I know she just contacted me this morning, so hopefully she'll go through this fine. Guys, do you have any questions? Anything that's not clear? Okay, I'm going to finish this meeting right now and expect to see emails from you with the 2 scenes and a very fast sketch of the floor plan. What is it you're thinking? And then meeting with each of you afterwards and discussing whatever progress that you made from today to that point. Okay? Are we cool with that, everybody? The invisible people? Can I hear your voices? Hello?
Yep, that works.
Okay. I love your makeup, Chantal. That is awesome.
Thank you.
That's super awesome. Francesca, are you there?
Yes, that works.
Okay. I still have still some missing assignments I need to see. Okay.
Yeah.
Contact me now. Isabella, we know what we are doing, right? You will be emailing to Gmail.
Yes, I will do
Okay.
that.
Okay, Daniel, I got yours. The last weeks you need to move faster to the new assignment, okay?
Okay.
Benjamin, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm just catching up on everything. Everything should be done by this week. Like catching up on everything.
You shaved and you
Yeah.
changed your hairstyle. Very
Yeah,
cool.
I got a new haircut.
Yeah, very
Yes.
cool.
Thank you.
I hope you're feeling better. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, so guys, ta-ta. See you soon this week, everybody, okay? Be good. Okay, bye.